Hey, congratulations for Tropic. You had a
Thank you.
good festival run at Fantastic, and you're going to have another one this weekend.
Yes, exactly. Very exciting.
So tell us where the original story came from to you.
I was always fascinating by universe of monster and dystopian universe and my inspiration. I used to be a big fan of comics, and I have a background in graphic design. So all this world is something that I have inside me for a long time, and I have this idea to make a story of about monster and I have different projects, and I met a co-writer who have also this fascination for this kind of story, and he already have a kind of idea of a story of two brothers like that, and we start to work together during 3 years on this story, and we have also for different reasons some very personal thing, him with this his family and me also on my side. We want to talk about people who are different in a way, you know what I mean. So, and we for that we also want to use the genre movie to make something a little bit different also, and yeah, and to tell our story.
Yeah, I watched the film. I was fascinated by it, but I saw it much more of a family story
It
than
is.
than a monster or a sci-fi story.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. And for me, it's a story of a family story, who how can I say, who who disintegrated with disintegrate. Sorry for my English. I try to do my best, huh?
Yeah.
But it's the story of a family who collapse, after a disaster. And the disaster in my movie, I don't really explain where it comes from. I don't want to give the key to the audience, and I want the audience to ask the question. Okay, today a family can collapse because of, and there is many reasons, But you're right. It's a story about the family. One of my favorite movie, and I perhaps you see it or not, but for me it was the Ciné Lumet movie.
Mhm.
You know which one? It's the name in English. It's sorry, I have in well anyway, but I don't know, because in French it's a different name for for this movie. It's let me check in 1 second. But yeah, it's a story. It's a family story, as you say, and it's not a classic slasher or sci-fi movie. And for me, it was very important to keep this. You know,
When did you decide to leave it as a mystery? This strain, this radiation. Did you decide it early on, or did you decide it later?
no, quite early, quite early. It was at the beginning of the story, and we have this idea, and we want that this kind of radiation come from the sky, and we want to keep the possibility for the audience to imagine that it can be, well, it can be something that come from extraterrestrial, but it can be also something that was building by human, and it can be also the disaster can be of something that humans start to build. And for sure, we were thinking about what's happened, with the craziness of Elon Musk in the satellite and stuff like that, and as one point, you can have this kind of boomerang effect. You say boomerang, you know,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm. Yeah. comes back.
Yeah, yeah. When you have a dream of something, and this dream can be the reason of the collapse of what you dream of, and yeah.
Now, I was astonished on the makeup of the disfigurement of Tristan in your film. Tell us about the look that you had to come up with, and the makeup artist that actually had to put it on it.
Yeah, well, it's not a big budget movie. So at the beginning, we have some idea of monster a little bit different and perhaps more fantastic, or more, But when we start to work on the writing and on everything, uh, we have some budget issue, for sure, but for me, one of the there is two inspiration. There is for sure there is Elephant Man, in a way, the David Lynch movie, in terms of makeup, and there is also probably The Fly, the David Cronenberg movie. There are both for me a big inspiration, and the Sidney Lumet film. Now I got it. It's Running on Empty. And I love this three movie, and yeah, and I want to the difficulties was to make the monster very ugly, very special, very different, a man who that people don't want to look, but to keep also the emotion in the character, and to give him the key, and to give to Luis Perez, which is the actor, the key to express himself as an actor, and for this character, it was very important to keep the emotion in his eyes, and and at one point, I hope that in movie you have this feeling. At one point, you look at him and you start to love him, and to understand also his problematic, his difficulties, and everything. So it was a big challenge for me and for the makeup artist. And I can tell you also another story. The fact that we shot in 60mm for me was also an option to erase a little bit, the texture of the plastic, of the texture of the makeup, and to make it also more poetry, and to give us more sensibility and more poetry.
Is that a lot of patience to direct someone who's hiding behind, I want to say, behind the makeup or even behind the mask to show those emotions?
Yeah, it's not easy, but for example, when he start to work, and when he start to have the makeup in his, the makeup artist start very early, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and during 4 hours it was makeup, but the actor start to be himself, the character, and during all the day, the character never get out of his character, and of his emotion, and so for me it was not so complicated to direct him, because he was already the character, and even if his attitude, and even if how we play, and so no, it was easy. And as I say, and as you can see in the film, we shoot a long lens to be very close, always from the character. It was for me very, very important I don't want to have I love a wide lens, but on this film, I want to keep always focus on the eyes of my characters.
So you feel you're very fortunate that you got the perfect cast, because the emotion range was shown by everyone.
I think so. I love my cast, and for a director, you have to love your actor. You have to trust in them. This is the cast who take the film at one point, and we worked a lot, and yeah. It's for me, it's the key, the cast.
Now, of course, this is a sci-fi film. I know it's a low budget, and you had to do the best, to
Yeah,
show us the future. But I
yeah.
was very fascinated about the Astronaut Academy. How did you research into an astronaut academy, and how real are those training and tests?
Well, there is some real stuff, and I make a lot of research. I worked in France. I have some contact with all the Ariane team, and the space camps in France, like the NASA, but for us, and they were very, very, very cool. And we were able to visit them in the south of France, where they do all the research, and we have our famous astronaut called Thomas Pesquet, which is in France is very famous, and we didn't speak to him already, but we have the opportunity to speak with the people who work with him. So it was great, and they give us they even at the end of the film, when they are in the French Guyana, they open up, the way the place where they work, and so we are very lucky, and they're very film friendly to help us, But also we can't do anything, so I also have to find, with my art director, to find some without money, to find some idea to 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 give to the audience something visual, and we play a lot with the light, and I play a lot with my DP, Mathieu Plainfossé, and the art department, to find something cool, as close as possible as what it's real or not. But as I always say, for me, the story takes place in the kind of parallel world. You don't really know if it's in the future or if it is a dystopia, or you know what I mean. I never say that we are in 2045, or so you don't really know where you are, and that's also for me. It was easy because I can, at the end, I can do what I want. You know what I mean? And I don't want to have something very as a documentary. It's a tale,
Mhm.
and I consider the movie as a tale, and more than something that, oh okay, they're gonna do like this, so I'm gonna shoot like that, and you know what I mean. So it gives me a lot of freedom for me.
Absolutely, and that's why it's called science fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so what is next for you, Edward?
Next, I'm working on two different secret projects, two feature film, but it's gonna be also in the same kind of mood, with probably a monster, different monster, but always monster.
That is great to hear. So hopefully I get to talk to you again about that. But thank you very much for having this conversation with me about
It's
Tropic.
a it's a pleasure. Where are you based?
I am in California, United States.
Oh, great, great, great. Okay, okay, okay. So enjoy the sun in California. Thank you so much, and sorry for the delay, but it is. Thank you so
It,
much.
it's an absolutely lovely movie, and I love the cinematography throughout the entire movie. It's terrific.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.